solid.
Anybody have a single replacement they want to share?
I'm not a good share, Mr. S.
I don't know.
I'll share.
What do you got, Emma?
I have magnesium and HCl.
Magnesium and HCl. All right. So what happens? What would magnesium replace?
The H.
It would replace the H. Why? Why not the
Because it's
Cl?
more electronegative. Or less electronegative.
Just because metals tend to replace metals, right? And non-metals replace non-metals. So in this case, magnesium and hydrogen react in the same type of way, so they would replace each other, right?
Okay.
Is magnesium more reactive than hydrogen?
So,
It is. So the reasoning is it will only replace it if it's higher on the reactivity series, right? So here's hydrogen right here, and above that is magnesium. So it will replace it. So what are the products?
H2 and MgCl.
MgCl. What's that called?
Magnesium chloride.
Magnesium chloride. How many chlorines would you need? 2, exactly, because magnesium is a 2+ cation, so you need 2 of them. Awesome. Does everybody understand what happened here? Is this a mystery to anyone?
Where did 2 come from?
This too?
No, the R.
Oh, okay. So hydrogen, when you kick this hydrogen off, right, it doesn't tend to exist on Earth all by itself. Hydrogen has 1 lone electron, right? So how many bonds does it tend to make? 1. So if it gets kicked off, it'll bond to itself like that. You'll get 1 bond between 2 hydrogens. That's H2, and that's a gas. So when you do this reaction, you see bubbling. So let's do that reaction real quick. And let's see if there's bubbling. Andrew, why don't you help me out? Actually, you get to wear these because you're the one who wants not to get blinded.
You want to get blinded?
No, I said he doesn't want to get blinded.
But does that mean you do?
Thought he was called.
All right, so here's a watch glass. Here is a little bit of magnesium. All right, and this is concentrated hydrochloric acid. So just add a couple of drops and let's see what happens. What kind of, if there was a chemical reaction, what types of things would we be looking for? All right, you gotta be a good demonstrator too, so stop doing this nice things.
Bubbles.
Bubbles. Anything else? Just in general. Hold on.
Color change?
Color change. Nice.
Smell difference?
Smell. Absolutely. If you release hydrogen sulfide, the only indicator of that is actually just that it smells like rotten eggs, right? Anything else?
Temperature.
Temperature change. Definitely temperature change for sure, right? How do you know an engine's running? Because it gets hot, right? Ken, do you have something else?
Yeah, what's it called again?
Change in state. So if she says phase change,
No,
So, Chad?
what it is.
but phase change is an awesome one, right? Because we were doing double displacement reactions where the only thing that was happening was that we created a solid, right? So that's another indicator. Go ahead, add some hydrochloric. All right, so what's that gas coming off? Hydrogen gas. Is there a way that I could tell that that isn't, say, oxygen gas? Good. If I collect it in a test tube, right? If that's hydrogen gas, if I put a lighter to it, it'll pop because it's explosive. If it was oxygen gas and I put a splint, right, just a glowing ember into the test tube filled with oxygen, pure oxygen, what would happen? It would glow. It would glow. If that was carbon dioxide, and put the splint in there, what would happen? It would go out. Because CO2 is a natural fire extinguisher, right? All right, you done. Thank you. Good lab procedure. Thank you. I mean, you didn't splash anything anywhere for the most part. That's good. All right. So let's look at number 1 on the problem set. I want you to do this real quick. All right. So number 1, it says copper, and what's this thing called right here? What's that thing called? You could say hydrogen sulfate. That's a good name. But what about the acid name? Sulfuric acid. Very nice. So try that real quick. Let me know if you think copper would it replace sulfate or would it replace hydrogen? What would happen? So would copper replace hydrogen or would it replace sulfur? Would it replace it at all?
This is
Yes.
This is your paper gun.
And compass. That's for next week.
I have
Yeah, that, all right. All right, so what do you think? No reaction? Because copper is less reactive, okay? This is a group of metals here in this list. These are all metals. So remember, when you're talking about metals, the characteristic you're talking about is electropositivity, actually. Right? It's how willing is it to give up an electron? Which one's the most willing to give up an electron on the table? Metal or francium. Which element on the table is the most electronegative, the most willing to gain an electron? Fluorine, right? Fluorine's up, right? All right, so in this reaction, does anything happen? No, because copper is below hydrogen on your reactivity series. So that's easy. So the idea from here on out is this. If aluminum is above hydrogen on the reactivity series, then it will go forward. So what would be the product that I get? I get aluminum chloride. How many chlorines would I need if aluminum's in group 13? 3. And then what's the other product? Hydrogen comes off as a gas, right? Good, as a gas. Nice. So go ahead and work on these. You should be able to finish 5 through 20 today. If you can't, finish it up for homework. These problems, these very same problems, 4 of them will be on the homework quiz tomorrow. Okay, so homework quiz tomorrow. 4 of these problems will be on there. That's how you'll be assessed on the homework. Make sense?